Hey guys, Weiss Schwarz here, and I'm going to be giving you a deck profile. This one's a little bit different though because I'm going to be deck profiling a deck that is not mine. This is a friend of mine, Andrew Wells' deck, his Haruhi. It is a tricolor red, yellow, blue. So we're just going to open it up and see how it is. So we'll start off with Wedding Dress Haruhi. This is a promo card which comes from the box, not from the Meister set. And with this promo, pretty much it's a 0015 and it gains 500 power for every card in your clock. Meaning you can first turn this, and then when they attack into you, after you take the damage, it gains that power because then the battle stuff happens. So really cool card, and we use it also for the Brigade Leader count. Next up, we are going to be running two of this, I don't even know his name, Koizumi. 1500 base. If you have a Brigade Leader, it gains 2k, putting it up to a 3-5. Just a basic beater, and we have Brigade Leaders at 0, so it helps out a lot. And then next up, we're going to be running two of this Haruhi. It's a 2k base, and its effect is when this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, pick one of your other characters, rest it, and send it to your back row. The reason why this is really good is because you can play this with your Suicider and then attack with the Suicider first. Make sure this kills something. Bring your Suicider back alive and put it in the back row for next turn. Speaking of the Suicider, we're going to be running two of those. Pretty standard Suicider. It has 1k power though, because when it becomes reversed, you can give another SOS Brigade character 1500 power. But once again, Brigade Leader, which is going to help for keywords, and comboing it with this card helps out quite a bit. Next up, we're going to be running Vanillas. Yeah, Vanillas are great. Shut up, Conor. Don't laugh. We're going to be running three of them. Why do we run them? Because they are Brigade Leaders. That is the only reason. But, you know, apparently some decks actually died of Vanillas, so we'll keep them. So next up, the reason why we run Brigade Leaders is because we're going to be running the 0-0 Kyon, which needs Brigade Leaders. When you play this card from hand, pay one stock, and then put one of your Brigade Leaders into your clock to then search your deck for a card named Usual Haruhi and put it onto your deck. We'll get to that card in a little bit, but it really helps out. It brings out a level 1 and level 0, and then plus you can attack with this card, and it's also an SOS Brigade. Next up, we're going to be running three of the Haruhi Nagato cards. 1500 base, has Hand Encore, and during your opponent's turn it gains 2k, putting it up to a 3-5 beater on your opponent's turn. Number one reason why we run this card is it's somewhat decent for consistent field, and it's a blue card, which is going to help for the blue count later on at level 3 and level 2. And then for lastly, a level, or no, not lastly, I forgot. We're going to be running three of this Mikuru. It's a 0-0-2k, and it combos with a lot of the cards in the deck. Whenever an SOS Brigade character is placed on the field by hand or from coming from the memory, it gains a K. Typically, this is what our back row consists of. We put these in the back. When you play a card from hand, any SOS Brigade, it gains power. So that's pretty much why we use it, and it's the only green in the deck. So we run those at 3. And then we run a spicy one-of of the Pay 1 Brainstormer. It's only good for compression because we only run 6 Kyon cards with its name. So, because the Brainstorm is pay 1 for each Climax you hit, give a soul to a Kyon character in its name. It also bonds for Usual Kyon, which is a 2-2, I think. So we're just using it really for the repeatable Brainstormer because this deck doesn't have any other Brainstormers. Alright, then we're going to move on to level 1. So the Usual Haruhi card I talked about with the Kyon level 0 is to bring out this card, Usual Haruhi. 1-0-5k, and when its battle opponent becomes reversed, you can send it to memory. So when you play this from hand, it gains a K if you have those Mikurus on the field, then you killed something, send it to memory, and then when it comes back, it'll gain that 1k once again because the Mikuru will probably still be on the field. Most people like this card quite a bit. It's because it's free and it's a 5k and you can buff it up. It's also Brigade Leader, can help out with other things. Also SOS Brigade, so it gains this other benefits from the trait. And then it's free. Most people like it at 4, but we're going to run it at 3 for size stuff. Next up, we're going to be running 2 of this blue swimsuit Haruhi and Nagato. On play, you can select another character, and when that character gains the ability, when this card is sent to the waiting room, put it back on stage where it was its position and tap it, or keep it tapped. So basically, you give any card a free encore. It's a good card, except for Typically, we're not playing them at level 1 because we're not actually probably going to have blue in our clock or in our level because we're going to be prioritizing yellow and red. But it's really good, I think, for an in-game kind of stuff where you're going to run in with your 3s and then, hey, you want them back by the end of the turn, then you can play this and give that card a free encore. Next up, we're going to be running the first Climax combo. We're going to be running this 1-1, has a Haruhi and Kyon in it. It's a 5-5, and so that doesn't really matter. It's a Brigade Leader and an SOS Brigade, so it does work with Mikuru. And it has a Climax combo with a +2 soul, so it helps you keep up in damage because this deck does fall behind since you'll be sending some of your stuff to the memory. So the 2 soul will help out with the damage, and pretty much when you play the Climax card and at the beginning of the encore step, if this was on the field, you can send these to memory. They'll come back at the beginning of your draw step, and when they do come back, they gain 3,000 power, putting them at an 8-5. But since they're also an SOS Brigade character, if you have the Mikurus, they'll gain a K for each of those. So they can help you beef up and kill over most 1s, most 2s, but you kind of don't really have to worry about them after that point. But we're just going to be running that combo. For the rest of level 1, we're going to be running 2 of this promo. This card is kind of dumb. It's kind of funny though. It's a very versatile card. This is the shop promo that you would get from going to your shop. 1-1-3-5, and it has 3 different act abilities. One of them is you can just tap it, give an SOS Brigade character 1K, and it has 2 other effects, which both have the cost of pay 2, tap this card. One of them, you just get to salvage a character in your waiting room, and the other one is burn your opponent for 1 damage. Pretty much there's just another back row card, since we don't put a lot in the back row, if you don't have the Mikurus in play, or you can play it, pay the 2, and salvage the Mikuru, but obviously that's a lot of resources. And then next up, we're going to be running this event, and the text is too small for me to read its name, so I'm not going to worry about it. It's a 1-1 event. You can't play this unless you have a Brigade Leader on the field, but when you do use it, search your deck for 2 SOS Brigade characters, add them to your hand, and then discard 1 card. Helps you search out for your 1-1 Climax combo card, helps you search out for usual Haruhi, and it does not help you search out for anything level 2 or higher. So, help you set up your level 1 game by clocking it right. Don't give me that look. Next up, we're going to be running a spicy one of this event. It's a 2-0 blue card. Pretty much, it's just a tech card because this deck doesn't have anti-change. You're not going to worry about it. So instead of worrying about anti-change, you're going to try and stop people's Climax combos, which this card can sometimes get that done. Basically, it's a counter card. You play it when your opponent attacks into you, and you blow up your opponent's Climax card. It stops clock shooters that require a Climax card on the field. It stops restanders that require a Climax card on the field. It stops slash shot Xenon for burn damage, etc., etc. It doesn't stop Xenon, I forgot. But, I mean, unless there's 2 on the field. If there's 2 on the field, you can stop it. But yeah, it has to happen after the attack, obviously, for you to play that. And then the rest of level 2, it's going to be really small. It's going to be 2 of this 2-1 Haruhi. It has a change effect, that's why we run it. And it has another effect, which is very troll, and is very bad. It's a pay 3 Brainstormer. Tap this card. Or, sorry, no, you don't tap this card. Just pay 3. For each for each Brigade Leader that you send to the waiting room from this effect, you can then grab a Brigade Leader in your waiting room and put it on stage, and its level has to be X of the number of Brigade Leaders that you sent to the waiting room. So if you Brainstorm 3 and you hit 3 Brigade Leaders, yes, you can bring out a level 3, but the chances of that happening are very slim. But we just use it for the change. Beginning the encore step of this character's tap, pay 1, put this into your clock, and bring out the 3-3, and this is it. Right there. When this card comes out, you heal 1, so you're going to heal the damage you took from the change. And then it has a Climax combo, which is pretty basic. It combos with this 1k1 gate. And on attack, when this is on the field, burn your opponent for 1 damage. Very simple. It's really what you're going to be using to push for damage. You can get them out early if you use the changes. But that's pretty much what they're going to be for the heal and for the burn. And for the rest of level 3, we're just going to be running 2 of the Nagatos. And what this is on play, you can pay 1, and then it gains the ability on reverse of this card's opponent. You can heal 1, so it can heal. And then its other effect is when this card is placed on stage, pick up your entire opponent's field, put them in memory, then put them back and you can put them on your opponent's stage in any position that you choose to put them in. Basically, you don't like where their cards are set up, you can move them around. You want to kill their back row? Sure, go for it. And then you can also basically guarantee an opponent for it to kill for the heal. So that's what it's for. We're only running it as 2 just because we don't have a lot of blue in the deck, and it's not too super good until we can get better alien cards from the extra booster. Just because right now there's no way to search for it. So that's the deck. So it has a very beefy level 0 with a almost non-existent level 2. Level 3 is pretty small too, and your level 1 is pretty much just gonna keep you alive, kind of. But most of the deck is going to send itself to memory, so you are going to be taking a lot of damage. So the 2 solars help right there, and then the burn damage at the end of the game kind of help you keep up. So feel free to tell me what you think of the deck profile. I'll make sure to get the messages across to Andrew Wells, the person who made the deck. And there's going to be a match with it with Conor's Tricolor Attack on Titan deck. So stick around for that, and I hope you guys enjoy the deck. Thanks, guys.